Nuisance streamer Chud the Builder was arrested on Saturday night after causing a scene in a Nashville steakhouse. According to cops, he was streaming inside the restaurant after being asked not to, and once he was confronted, he started yelling and making racial statements and causing a scene. He allegedly refused to pay for his $400 meal after eating it because he was being kicked out. Jail records show that he was later booked and then released on a $5,000 bond.
What's going on, everybody? This Afro think tank. So, Chud the Builder, all right, Chud the Builder, he got arrested by the FBI, right? Now, I figured this was going to happen after a while because, I mean, what he was doing was obvious. He was obviously trying to aggravate something to happen. He wanted to aggravate something to happen. I didn't even know the dude was 20. Y'all know he's 23. I thought homie was like 39, 30. I thought he one of them. 23, he is too young, and he's young and stupid. I don't know what he thought was going to happen, right? Donald Trump got these racist white folk out here thinking that it's okay to be blatantly racist in public, in that sense, you know, Donald Trump has created an authoritarian, you know, government that, you know, he was going to be okay and get away with it. Like they thought it was like a new day or something. Like, yeah, finally, we don't have to hide our racism in our house. We can come outside and be racist, right? And not only did he disprove everything he was trying to prove, we found out that, you know, most black people are very civil. You know, we look at him and we're like, you know, what's your problem? And here's the thing. I noticed there's some people that are saying, how come black folks can get mad and fight each other and shoot each other over petty things, but when a white guy come along, you know, why is it that they don't do anything to that white guy? Now, let me answer that question. The white guy is not going to the place where the same black guy who attacked the black guy for stepping on his shoe or calling him name, he's not going to that place. He's not encountering those kind of black people. Normal black people don't do that. I know the TV will have you believe that all of our YNs, which I hate that term, young niggas. No, these are young YBs, young black boys, YBBs, YBB, whatever. Young black boys, young, valuable black boys that should be given respect. You don't hear us talking shit about your little young ass white neo-Nazis and shit in training. All right. Our young black boys, our young black men, right, most of the time act with civility, right? There's a small micro minority that have a major impact within our communities where you have young black boys who have no home training, just like Chud the Builder, all right, who's young, dumb, just like Chud the Builder, all right, who don't know how to make decisions like Chud the Builder, all right, who don't understand that there are consequences to every action, just like Chud the Builder, all right? There are, believe it or not, there are people who have not connected, you know, all the synapses in their head. They don't make good decisions. There are a lot of people who don't make good decisions, don't know how to make a good decision, and don't understand when they make a bad decision and a consequence comes because of that bad decision. They can't comprehend that that bad thing happened because of the choices that they made personally. You understand? That's why we have the YNs who do stupid stuff, young and dumb and untrained. Chud, all right, the Builder, is a white version of young and dumb and stupid and don't know how to make decisions and can't comprehend. So he gets pulled over by the FBI. Now, believe it or not, even though the FBI is being ran by a drunkard Indian Coonarian freaking patsy of white supremacy, there are people in the FBI who actually value their job and actually do their job to the best of their ability, even though the leadership are racist or racist adjacent, right? Just because the top brass, right, implanted in there are racist doesn't mean the whole body of the FBI is racist. They're going to do their job. There are people in law enforcement that will do their job, you know, every now and then. And just like anybody else, you got this white guy who seems to actively be trying to cause an acrimonious altercation with a particular group of people on a constant basis, on a commercial basis, to also get financial gain from that activity FBI has to do an investigation. Why? Because who are you connected to? Are you a lone wolf or are you connected to an organization? These are questions that got to be asked. Now, once you make yourself famous and known to the world, Craig, all right, that you are a racist piece of shit who is so goddamn insecure about oneself, right? That's so enamored with black folks who are minding their own black business that you make it your business to go there and antagonize. When you do that on TV, on the internet, for millions to see, somebody's bound to notice that. And if you have a bank account, they're going to say, we don't want you associated with our bank. Yeah, if you have anything that, if any corporations associated with you that want to continue to make money, right, they're going to disassociate themselves with you. Why? Because businesses are in the business of making money. Smart people know that racism actually does not sell. Okay? You have to be rich to be racist. If you want to be racist like Elon Musk, all right, you got to have Elon Musk money. As you can see, Elon Musk, #1 rich neo-Nazi, right? You got Donald Trump, another rich neo-Nazi, a German. Look, he's a German who the only book he ever read was Hitler. And as he's the president, he's implementing Hitler policies in the Hitler way globally. Go figure, right? The German doing what Germans do. The Nazis doing what Nazis do after training themselves from other Nazis. Crazy, right? Anyway, Chud, the builder, thought that because the rich white folks could do it, his poor ass could do it. That's the mistake that poor white racists make. Rich white racists don't care about poor white racists. Your job as a poor white racist is to do all the dirty work, do all the distracting work, do all the disunity work, do all the separation of community work on behalf of rich racists. And then after rich racist has no need for you, he takes you, right, and he dismisses you. Or he takes you, right, puts you in one of his armies and militaries, have you go die for his racism and his money, right? The rich racists do not care about the poor racists. You are a tool, all right, meant to be thrown away. You're trash, right? Trash. But for some reason, these poor white racists who has not figured out that they have never gotten a piece of the pie that they thought they were supposed to get, still go out here thinking that they're protected because the rich white racists are being racist, right? But Chud, the builder, has found out that that's not the case. Because Donald Trump's neo-Nazi administration's FBI came to see if he was a terrorist. And now he's on a list. And now nobody wants to bank with him, right? You're not the first white folks that can't get a bank account because of your racism, all right? Apparently you have not been paying attention. Look at the Mexican gay racist, Nick Fuentes. He has issues too, right? Because of his open racism. And soon, the fad of poor white disenfranchised white folks who don't want to focus on who the actual problem is, which is the rich people in suits who wants to still focus on to what they believe is the low-hanging fruit, the easiest target, which is people on the same economic level as them, but yet, or a little bit higher, who don't look like them. Since they want to concentrate on that, right, they are distracted and they are being taken advantage of, right? And they're not being propped up the way they want to be propped up by the institutions and the business institutions that they thought would be on their side finally. See, it's one of those things where, the white races went to the white dance, all right? The white races went to the white dance. You go into the dance room, all the white racist music is playing, right? But ain't nobody dancing on the dance floor because everybody's scared to step out there and be the first ones to show their skills at being a racist dancer, right? And then the first one, everybody's waiting for that first one to go out. And once the first one goes out and start dancing, the first racist couple, then the next one who feels a little comfortable, like, okay, I'm not the only one. They step out, right? And they start dancing. And then before you know it, the group gets comfortable because now they don't have to stand out. Everybody's not staring at them. So now they're all dancing, right? See, that's what they thought was going to happen, right? So right now, right, at the racist party, the only people dancing are the rich racists. They're in the middle of the dance floor. All the poor racists are still wondering if we can come out and dance, right? And every time one of them poor racists come out to dance, the rich racists look at them like, excuse me, what the fuck are you doing on my dance floor? Excuse me, someone do something about this. They're sullying my floor. You guys get demolished, destroyed by the system that's supposed to be built to protect you and give you the advantage every single time, right? So now you got all these poor white racists trying to get on the dance floor because they think it's okay now. But in fact, it's not. You don't belong on the dance floor, right? You never belonged on the dance floor. You're supposed to sit on the side and be quiet, right? That's where you really belong until the people on the dance floor, the rich white folks, call you over and tell you, go get me some punch. Huh? Go get me some cheese squares with the little stick in it. Huh? Yeah. Hey, can you put this in the trash? Hey, do you work here? Yes. Another glass of wine, please. That's your job. Okay? And Chud, the builder, doesn't seem to know that. And now he's suffering. Right? He's in a global embarrassment. He won't be able to be hired anywhere. No one's gonna hire him. And he's not even a woman. See, if he was a woman, he would have got almost $1 million. Just like that racist white woman got the call. Listen, we live in a country where the white folks know not only would vote in a known racist and sexist 3 times. They tried 3 times. They got 2, 3. But the white people in this country, in America, will make a racist white woman rich because she called a 5 or 6-year-old black mentally ill boy a nigger at a playground. I think about that. Think about that. There's enough racist white people out here that said, you know what? That girl is being targeted because all she did was call that little boy a nigger on the playground. Let me take my own personal money I work hard for and give her money and support that. That's the America we live in. That's the white society that hides behind their computers and their laptops and their cell phones, right? That hide behind the voting booth when they vote for racism, but come out and talk about how they're humanists and how, it ain't about race and I don't see color, right? But that shit ain't working out for you, Chud, the builder, because you're a man. All right, you're a man. And you probably didn't open up that GoFundMe. You probably should open a GoFundMe. Hell, and we know GoFundMe, give or take, they may let you do it, they may not. I don't know, right? But yeah, Chud, the builder, is having a hard time. Listen, only 75 cents a month. You can sponsor a degenerate white racist so they can buy bologna and cheese for their Wonder Bread cheese sandwiches. And so they can buy a decent knife to cut the crust off. Because we know white folks cannot handle crust. And they can afford to buy a small dollar store bottle of mayonnaise. Not the good kind, dollar store brand. But they need it. And every now and then, they can grab a cucumber, slice that bitch up, put it on the already cut Wonder Bread, slap some mayonnaise on it, and they can have him a wonderful time. All right? Only 75 cents a month. You can sponsor one like that. Okay? Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
These people took all my phones. Said it's evidence of the crime of me streaming, me walking out, disorderly conduct. I don't believe that for a second. So, anyway, so I'm talking to the fucking Fed. And it basically got to the point where they were like conceding in a way. Like, listen. Like basically saying, like, we got nothing on you. And after talking to you, we actually see, like, as humans, want to just give you this piece of advice. They're like, you know where this shit's going. This shit only escalates. And I do know this. I just have profound faith in the Lord that things might not go the worst way possible, which is anybody getting hurt, because I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. And they basically said, yeah, regardless on which way it goes, whether you get killed or you have to defend yourself and you end up killing someone, there will be massive riots. And these guys are basically in charge of preventing these massive riots. Or maybe they're in charge of manufacturing them. I really don't know. The guy seemed like he was a pretty decent person. I still want to have faith in the fucking judicial system and the police and these federal agencies. I genuinely want to have faith in them. Well, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, I guess, right? I think it got to an ending point where it was like more of a personal, intimate, hey, can I just give you a piece of advice? Man to man, father to father. I don't want to see you get killed. and regardless on whether I have to defend myself in a life or death situation, the ramifications of that, even if I'm exonerated in trial for something like that, the world would never be the same, and my world would never be the same. In not a good way, not a way that I'm looking forward to. I do not want nothing like that to happen. I don't want any of that to happen, bro. That's genuinely my last desire.
Okay, so the dog water influencer Chud the Builder just posted a video practically crying because the FBI pressed him. So hopefully you haven't heard of this guy, but Chud the Builder is a kick streamer who is famous for walking up to strangers on the street and calling them slurs, right? Like that's literally it. If you keep up with streamer culture, you know IRL streams are a disease, right? Not that every IRL streamer is doing bad stuff, but it's like streaming IRL just amps people up to do ridiculous things that they wouldn't do in normal life, right? And just harass people for clicks and views. So it was just another stream for this guy. I mean, he's been blowing up lately. So he decides he's going to go into a restaurant and then walk out without paying. Now, fortunately, he did the crime to some white people. So he did get arrested for it. And he made this video right after the arrest video saying like, oh, like the federal agents took all my devices. And take everything this guy says with a boulder of salt because he is a manipulator for the internet. But he was like, oh, you know, the federal agent came up to me and he was like, yo, man to man, we don't want anything happening to you, you know? And honestly, given who's running the FBI right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they told this fool, oh, nah, man, like, come on, bro. Because he says like, oh, you know, if something happens to you or if you're forced to defend yourself, then the world would be changed for the worse and that could cause riots. I really do believe that if a black person showed him what was good after doing one of these streams and then he got sent to jail, I do think that would cause riots, yeah. But if somebody did something to him, would it cause a riot? No. And honestly, I think this whole stream that he did talking about like, oh, you know, I'm rethinking my ways is just because he needs attention. He needs attention. Or he has something on his phone that he knows is going to come out and he's trying to frame it differently. Overall, this isn't him getting his just deserved, but you can tell that the table is getting set for that. The table has already been set for you liking, sharing, and following. Making videos for you guys is my full-time job, kind of like this guy. Or you can support me personally by listening to my music, my new single, Walk With Me, all platforms.
Funniest thing about this Chud the Builder dude is, I just know he want to antagonize us, but if I was a betting man, the people or person who gonna get him gone is gonna be his own person. It's gonna be one of his own kind. It always works like that. They want to blame us. They want to come bother us. They want to go out their way to agitate us just for them to get taken out by their own kind. The way that he goes about doing what he do is like, it's the weakest thing in the world. You want to go out antagonizing people, want to start something so they can do something to you so you can react, so you can try to say it's self-defense. But then once you actually get pressed, you get scared. You want to call the police and all that. Like, nah, what happened to this fuck around and find out thing y'all be on? Then you got these dumb folks that want to bring up, oh, it's just a word and all this and all that. But it's like, y'all know why he doing that. But I promise y'all, if anything happened to him, don't be surprised when it's one of his folks that do it.
Matter of fact, I have an answer for European people. Y'all be like, what do y'all want us to do? I'm not racist. I'm not racist. How do you want us to prove it? I'm going to tell you how. So it's a European content creator going around that, there we go. So Chud the Builder is a European content creator that just be going around calling people the N-word, just trying to provoke black people, going to black neighborhoods, just doing weirdo stuff, trying to get a reaction so he can pull out a pew-pew and do something to us. So he went over to this European man who, of course, just looking at him, you would assume that he thinks the same way that he thinks, especially because he's an older European guy. You know, he looked like, you know, he fit the bill, right? So Chud went to this man and was like, yeah, they won't let me in the bar. And the man was like, what? He was like, yeah, because I said the N-word. He was like, well, being as though 2 of my boys are black, I don't appreciate you saying it. Skedaddle. He told him to get on. This is what we want y'all to do. Speak up. Say something. Speak against it. Because the reality is that a lot of y'all, If you are hanging around a person like Chud, you say nothing, which means you agree with everything Chud is doing. When you sit down and you say absolutely nothing, that means that you're okay with the way he's behaving. And a lot of European people behave like that. They either let them do it or they just don't say nothing. We have a few that act like this man here and be like, nah, I don't play that either. Get on. This is what we need you to do. Speak up and speak out. When you at dinner and your auntie and your grandma and your nana pa and all them talking about them N-words. No, that is not right. You don't call them people. You speak up. That's what we want. But y'all don't be doing it because y'all don't want to get cut out the wheel. Y'all don't want to get exiled and cut off from the funds. You don't want to be a little poor for the sake of being right.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.